Oslo and Norway, they're some of the most digital places on the planet. We don't use cash anymore, even to the extreme where if you're going to church, you don't pass around a collection box anymore. You rather send a mobile donation to the church using sort of mobile person-to-person payments. Apparently, this actually leads to people donating more than they would have done otherwise. But it's either way, it's one great example of just how digital Norway has been. So here am I living here in Norway in a nice digital world, a little bit ahead, I think, of the rest of Europe. And then COVID hits, and what happens? Well, everybody else gets into a time machine and catches up. And that is the whole of Europe. So from France to Germany to Romania to Spain, the individuals, the customers in those countries have suddenly got in a time machine and they've leapt forward in terms of the digital adoption that they have. 5 to 7 years is our estimation. Now, of course, here in the Nordics, we've moved forward a little bit, and so we have advanced, but it's really been the whole of Europe that has made some of the most amazing leaps in terms of the digital adoption. So if you're a business and your customers have leapt forward in time, if they've suddenly become so much more digital, what are you experiencing? Well, you're experiencing that they're definitely looking to browse and to try things out, but they're not yet purchasing. And part of the reason they're not yet purchasing is because the experience that many companies are offering is just not good enough. And so, if you are one of those companies out there, what do you do? What do you do to seize this opportunity? What do you do to catch up with your customers? Well, there's really 4 things that you need to think about. The first one is, of course, that digital interface. You need to be very good at digital sales and marketing, and you need to be offering truly seamless and slick digital journeys that allow your customers to actually procure the product or service in that digital channel. But that's not enough, because you also need to be thinking about analytics. A lot of the models that you had in the past, they don't work anymore because or they need to be recalibrated because customers are not behaving the way, the environment is not the way that it was before. So if you're a bank, you need to think about recalibrating your collections models. If you're a manufacturer, you need to think about recalibrating the supply chain sort of models. But also you need to be thinking about all of that extra data that's out there, because as companies and individuals are out there so much more digitally, they're leaving so much more data that you can make use of. And so analytics is the second fundamental area to look at. The third gets down into the core. I mean, all of this is only going to work if your core tech platform is capable of managing this new digital world. And there's really 3 aspects to that. The first one is around the applications and the interfaces themselves. They need to be able to support all of those digital journeys. The second thing is around the infrastructure. You'll have seen that many companies are moving to cloud. Cloud gives this amazing scalability that is so powerful, the ability to flex up with consumer demand. People talk about it delivering also a potential reduction in cost. I think that can be the case, but in our experience, what's fascinating is one of the major benefits of cloud, beyond the scalability, is the developer productivity, and that's critical. If you're going to be developing quickly to catch up with your customers, then you need your developers to be functioning as well as possible. And in our experience, cloud can deliver somewhere between a 5 and 8x improvement in developer productivity. So clearly something to be thinking about. Last but by no means least, part of that core tech transformation, you need to think about security. You need to think about cyber. So much more is out there in digital. Your consumers need to feel safe, and you of course need to be protecting those interactions, protecting that data. So there are 3 areas that you need to think about to transform your core business. But then there's a 4th because all of this new digital behavior creates lots of new opportunities. There is an opportunity to go after adjacencies. So if you're a bank, why don't you think about going into insurance, offering a broader, additional financial products to your customers? What about cloud-based accounting services for your SME customers? People are doing that now. Or if you're an insurer, what about adjacent health services? So you move beyond insurance to thinking about more fundamental well-being for your customers. And so the fourth area that everybody needs to think about as they catch up with their customers is those new business opportunities. Now, all of that is great, but we have to do this quickly. As I just mentioned, you're playing catch up. So what does speed have to do? How do you manage to deliver the speed that you need to against all of those quite broad set of agenda items? Well, here I would argue the key is that A word, the agile word. And what I mean by agile is not some deep technical definition, but more about how do you take the essence of agile? How do you get a small team of skilled but multidisciplinary individuals? How do you get them to function together? How do you get them to focus on a clear objective that they are responsible for? And how do you get them to work in shorter cycles? That for me is the essence of agile. That's what's so powerful about it. Turns out that they don't even need to be co-located. I think many of us thought that co-location was physical co-location was critical for agile, but I think that's we've all seen through the impact of remote working, the need for remote working, that is actually not the case. And so it's those three elements of a team of multidisciplinary individuals who have a very clear common objective and who are working in short cycles. And so if those are the four areas plus the enabling agile, are they the same for everyone? Well, of course not. And so the exact mix, the exact recipe that you're going to put together will vary. Two examples I'd like to give you here from my own client experience. One of them, a bank in Europe, on the eastern side of Europe, they have been wrestling with growth. Now, what COVID presented was an opportunity to capture share, but only if they were able to have all of the right digital capabilities in place. And so what they've been focusing on is building out digital sales and marketing, slick customer journeys, and the analytics so that they can target their own customers and new-to-bank customers in the most effective way. The results are clear. They have managed to double their market share in key lending products, in mortgages and consumer loans, in only a matter of months, just by putting all of that in place and doing it quickly by using agile as an enabling, organizing sort of vehicle for what they're doing. So that's one example where the recipe was around digital sales plus analytics plus agile to make it work. What about a second? Well, a second is I serve a Nordic real estate broker. They want to be the absolute leader in their field. They want to reimagine what does a real estate broker do. And so what COVID has allowed them to do is to really try and leapfrog in terms of what that could look like. Of course, they need the digital sales and marketing because they need to be out there acquiring new customers who are thinking about sort of buying or selling a house. But also it gives them an opportunity to expand into new adjacent business areas. So offering their customers the opportunity to get home insurance, to get a telecom network installed, even to get some groceries booked so that they arrive on the very day that they move into the house. This more digital interaction allows them to expand well beyond the core area of real estate. They can extend using partnerships, but surfacing those in a nice digital fashion towards their customers in a very nice, slick, but targeted way. And so a different recipe that they're following, but still enabling them to capture the opportunities that exist out there and to move forward with and catch up with where their customers have already moved. And so hopefully those two examples give some illustration of the art of the possible. And not to say you have to copy either of those recipes, but you do need to think about what is the right recipe for you, what is the right combination of those 4 areas I discussed earlier, but also how do you do it in the fastest possible way. If you do so, then you do have a chance to catch up with your customers. If you do so, then you do have a chance to leapfrog the competition. I hope you take that chance.